It's a big issue. Democracy depends, sort of based on the idea of some sharing of power. Looks to me that democracy can handle quite a lot of inequality. In our own history, we've had plenty of inequality. And yet, there's been the rudder of democratic participation has seemed, by fits and starts, sometimes better and sometimes worse to work. The question is, we're getting to a new extreme of inequality in this country. And is there a point at which the power of wealth overpowers the power of the vote? And if that happens, then by definition, democracy has a problem. Are we getting close to that problem? Are we well into it? And that's a very active question right now. I think we are engaged as a country with this big problem, and we've got to figure out what to do about it. Are shutdowns sustainable? I don't think so over time. We need a smooth functioning government. After all, the idea is not to fight about government itself all the time. It's to get that settled and go about the business of the country. I don't think it's sustainable. I think we're in a kind of catalytic moment here between something and something else. I'm not sure what the passage is that we're engaged in. We need to get to a new kind of firm footing and some better consensus, not perfect, but some better consensus about how to steer this country. Right now, there's a degree of erratic steering in Washington that I don't think is sustainable. This is so difficult. We do 500 shows a year. That might mean 1,500 guests a year. I'll give you a couple. I loved talking with Annie Leibovitz, the photographer. She is just terrific. We see her by her photographic work, but the mind behind that work is a very supple, intuitive, searching mind. And sitting across the table from her was a kind of adventure. We had a great conversation about her work, the way she thinks about it, her philosophy, her loves, Susan Sontag, foremost. It was a great, great conversation. And one other I'll mention that I particularly enjoyed was with, before he died, Peter Drucker, the great thinker about business and business systems, about systems in general. Brilliant man. When I talked with him, he was well into his 90s. He was stone deaf by this point. I had to have an assistant write out the questions at where he was in Phoenix or Tucson as I gave them. He would read them and then respond so lucidly, so energetically, with so much intellectual enthusiasm. It was just a delight. I mean, the man's mind was on fire. That kind of inquisitive, deep, generous thinking excites me. We need more of it. The last question I asked him was, I said, you know, here you are well into your 90s. You've thought about how to manage everything. What do you think about death? And he said, that's the one question I leave up to the big guy. It was his last interview. It was a great one. I really enjoyed it.